family adventures and building memories while growing a business. We're going to be talking about the balance side of life today out of the 4 domains. It's Mike and Rachel Novak from Growth Drivers Podcast. If you were listening to this today, we have a huge ask for you. If you could review us, leave us a 5-star review. Yes, that would be amazing. Or share this with somebody that would find some value for it. We would massively, massively appreciate that just so it reaches some more people.
100%.
You can also connect with us online at meetthenovaks.com. At The Real Mike Novak is my Instagram.
And I'm at Rachel Novak.
Awesome. So we always talk about the 4 domains, body, being, business, and balance. And we talk about business a lot.
Yes, we do. I mean, it's growth drivers. People want to grow their business. So I get it.
But we're going to pivot a little bit today. We're going to talk about balance, right? And the balance conversation is, how do you build a big life with your kids, right? There's a lot of people out there, I think, that believe, much like I used to believe, that to have your kids winning means that you're in the office just grinding nonstop. Like, oh, I'm doing this for them, right? Like, I'm here 75 hours a week. I'm some kind of fucking martyr so that my kids will have an awesome life. And that's not actually being a great dad. That's not being a great parent. Your kids want to see you, right? And there's seasons of life where you are going to be that martyr. You're going to fucking work your ass off. We've definitely had multiple seasons of those in our life, but that's not the sustainable path to finding balance, right?
No, exactly. And this is a relatively new revelation for you. Like, this has been a huge blessing in our lives over the last couple of years, year especially, but last couple of years, where you came to this realization, because it was like the old school thinking is that I'm going to go grind and be the breadwinner. And if my kids have everything that they need financially and in the home, then I'm doing great. And the reality is, what makes a really great childhood and what makes a really solid family unit is building memories together.
Right. So I think COVID was a big wake up call to me on this one, because a lot of people died, right? And a lot of people died very, very young. And I was always like really focused on building a massive, huge, successful career, right? Like, massively driven for that. But if I kill over dead tomorrow, my kids aren't gonna give a shit about the zeros in the bank account, right? They're not gonna be over there counting that. They're not even gonna know about it. What they're going to remember is the impact that I made on their lives and the time that we spent together, and those memories that were forged.
That's exactly right.
And that's what really pivoted my mind, was back when COVID started, and just knowing like a lot of people that died, and that a lot of them were workaholic people that were just grinding, you know?
Absolutely.
And Damon Katir, he has a friend who was literally a billionaire, and this guy, self-made billionaire, got to like 70 years old and then retired and got cancer and died like 2 weeks later, right? He had worked his entire life, 100-hour weeks, nonstop, to build this massive, huge fortune, and spent no time with his kids and died 2 weeks after he retired.
And it's
so you can't wait for it, right?
No, exactly. And it's like that. Yeah, I think that there are so many people that do focus, and of course money is important, right? Like, we're not saying money isn't important. That's a huge part of it, but it's integrating quality time with your kids, building memories, taking the time. Like we should probably just get into these top 6 tips, because we're gonna just talk right through them all. But like, there are so many people that won't do the things and won't take the time to do it because they're tired, or they have to work. It's like, if you do not take them, time will fly. Like, you and I were just talking about this. Our oldest is going to have her driver's license. She's turning 16 in 2 months. And we're like, what happened? We just had her last week.
Yeah,
right?
she was just in diapers.
Yeah, it's like, what on earth just happened? Okay, 15 years flew by.
Well, I'll add an argument, like another one, into the conversation, that if you're massively successful in one domain and you're failing in 2 or 3 of the other ones, or even one of the other ones, it's going to limit your growth as an overall person,
100%.
right? Like, you will actually hold back your business by not finding some degree of balance, by not addressing your body, by having no spiritual connection with your being. Like, this is a holistic kind of 4-part solution, and you have to have all 4 to be a complete person. Yeah. Otherwise, you are going to be a short-term hit, right? Like, you're going to crush it in business and you're going to die from a fucking heart attack in 5 years, or your wife's going to leave you because she's never fucking seen you. Your kids don't even know where you work at or what you do anymore. Like, and you don't even know their names. Like, it becomes a really big problem. So you have to look at all 4, and you can't afford to lose sight of 1 or 2 of them, right? That's what this is all about.
Yeah, 100%.
And the good news is you can have a wildly successful business. You can have a 6-pack. you can love your God, and you can also have tons of time for your kids.
Exactly.
Right? And travel.
Yep.
So
let's dive into these top 6 tips for building memories with your kids and also growing a business and doing all the things in all the domains. So
how do you do it?
Yeah. So number 1, you've got to set expectations with the kids.
Yep.
They have to know when is work time, when is play time. Then they have to be in the loop. Like you have to let them know up front.
And they got to know what season you're in, right?
Yes.
Like we're real estate agents. So springtime is always really, really busy. Oftentimes it's 7 days a week for a couple of months in a row. Kids got to know about that, right?
Exactly right.
Hey, I'm in the growth season of this new business or of this seasonality of real estate, and I'm going to be working a lot. Don't worry, buddy. I'll be there in a couple of months when this is all over, and I'll go take you on a fantastic vacation, right?
Yeah,
now we set
exactly.
expectations.
Yeah, you're setting expectations for, hey, like this week is going to be a really busy week. I'm not going to be able to be home till 7 p.m. But you can make many promises within the week and say, hey, I'm going to commit to, I'll be at your gymnastics on Saturday, right? I'll come watch that class, so that they know and can expect. And then you better fucking fulfill that, right?
Yeah. Well, so just a little tip when I'm feeling super tight on time with the kids and I can't make those things because I've got other business commitments, I will make sure I intentionally will send them an appreciation text, right? I'll just tell them like, hey, Maya, I really love what you're doing right now. Super proud of you. Just honored to be your dad, right? That takes me 30 seconds.
Yep.
And I just made sure I stayed connected with my kid.
Yeah.
Right.
Love it.
So you don't have to, like, if you can't go spend the time, that's okay. But there's other things you can do that don't require a lot of time to still make your kids know that you remember who they are, that they feel seen by you.
Yeah.
Right.
Just communicating them, right?
Right.
Setting the expectations. Exactly. All right. Number 2, experiences versus stuff. My favorite.
Yeah. And let's cross out stuff and call it shit, because that's really what it is,
100%.
right? Kids don't need more shit.
No, they don't.
I know our kids don't.
Yeah,
and nobody that I know needs more shit for their kids either, right? We are not materialistic people, right? Like we drive Teslas, which are nice cars, but we don't have like a $300,000 G-Wagon or something like that, or a Lambo. We don't make that a priority, and some people do.
Yep.
But with kids, I think it can be really problematic, right? If you attach their value and what they perceive to be value to things, I think that it can really breed an entitlement sense with children, right?
And it also gives a false sense of worth as well.
What do you mean when you say that? Like, explain that.
Like if they feel love by getting stuff, or if they feel like they're loved more, or that's how you're showing them love is by gathering things and owning things and hoarding things, then they're going to take that into their adulthood, right?
Yeah.
And that can be very problematic.
Yep, absolutely. So we focus on the experience side of things with our kids. And this is one of the reasons we travel with our children, right? Like we want to go spend time together doing epic shit.
Yes.
And it's those memories that really stick with your children. I guarantee you, if you ask our kids, what was your favorite memory from 2023 or 2024? They're going to pick out a travel experience they had. They're not going to remember the shit that we gave them.
They probably don't even remember what we got them for their birthday last year.
Yeah, no,
quite honestly.
I had Maya tell me the other day, like, Dad, it was so much fun in Thailand when we broke the rules and we jumped into the rooftop pool when there was no swimming allowed at 11 p.m., right?
Oh yeah. Everybody in the restaurant was looking at you. Right. It was great.
Yeah. So it's those experiences that they really do remember.
Yes.
And so it's just so much more important. And I get that some people like things. That's totally cool if that's totally your jam. Okay. But with kids, I really think you should put more of an emphasis on creating amazing experiences and memories with them than on just giving them more shit.
Yeah. It's the time. It's the, breaking down and just having fun, right? It's the going to a concert with your kids. Like last summer, we went over to Eastern Washington. We rented a boat for a day, got to just cruise around. And then we went to Blink-182 concert. Like they're going to remember that their parents are the ones who brought them there. Like that is cool.
Yep.
And it's not cheap, but it's definitely a lot cheaper than like new cars and new things. So
number 3, we talk about this one a lot, but it's super relevant to this conversation. Live by the 90-day rule. And the 90-day rule, if you haven't heard us talk about it before, just means that every 90 days, you've got a break in the business, right? You're going to step away, whether if it's for 3 or 4 days or a week or 2 weeks, whatever it's going to be, like whatever amount of time you can afford. And you're going to back off working. You're going to get out of the office. You're going to go do something that's really, really fun. For us, this is travel, right?
Exactly.
Like we did 2 weeks in Thailand last spring with the kids. Epic shit. We took them to Switzerland in August for 2 weeks. Like these were big, planned, intentional breaks. And that gave us this like huge light at the end of the tunnel, allowed us to push much, much harder when we were here. But we knew that we had that break, and the kids knew we had that break too coming
exactly.
out. Right?
Yeah. And it allows for them to also do the same thing, right? Like you're training them like, hey, like, you just have to push until this date. And then after this date, we get to go play and go have fun. And we don't have to worry about schoolwork. We don't have to worry about work for a week or two. And training them to essentially create their own boundaries, create their own deadlines. That's going to be a very useful skill into adulthood.
Right. Absolutely.
For sure.
So think about the 90-day rule, scale it up as you find more success, right? As you can afford to take more time, start taking more. We started with 3 or 4 day weekends, and it's grown up to 2 weeks now at this point. So
exactly right.
I love that.
So the next one, of course, kind of ties into this, of course, but it is trips with the kids, but also trips without the kids.
Right.
So our 90-day rule is pretty much every other.
Right. So last year we did Thailand in April, and then we did a date in North Italy for 2 weeks in June. Right?
2 of us. Yep.
Just the 2 of us. And then we went to Switzerland with the kids in August. And then in September, we went to Spain, the 2 of us plus Chuck and Teresa, right? Another couple.
Dating.
Yeah. Double date, basically.
Exactly.
But this is really, really important to stay connected as parents, right? Like this is the conversation today is about balance. And this is a huge part of balance. And you can't show up as a great parent if your marriage is shit.
That's right.
Right?
That's exactly right. Like, I think there are so many people that, and we've talked about that before, we don't have to go deep, but so many people that prioritize their kids over their relationship. And you do that once or twice, and then it turns into 3 times, then it turns into years, and then you hardly know the person, and now you're roommates. And you and I have always been incredibly intentional about, like, at first, just like God creating the world, right? First there was light. First there was you and I.
Right.
And if we do not maintain that light, if we do not maintain us in the basis of everything that we do, then we're going to lose ourselves, right? We have to maintain us. And then we bring the kids into that. And we're setting an example to the kids of what their priorities should be. Like I want for my girls and my son, our kids, to go into their marriages and prioritize that relationship, right? I don't want them to have an empty, unfulfilling relationship because that's what they saw mom and dad do, and that's what they think is the normal. It's really important to me that they are able to move and prioritize their relationship someday too. I
was just having this conversation with Maya, because we booked Greece randomly for September of this year, 2025 now. And I was texting back and forth with her. I said, hey, mom and dad are going to Greece. And she goes, what? Why are you going without me? And then I said, because it's important to keep dating your mother, just the 2 of us. And I said, I don't want you to ever get complacent in a relationship that you have. It's really, really important that you make it a priority. And she definitely understood that message.
Love that.
But again, we have to do it by example.
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
Absolutely. Number 5, leverage is critical.
Right. So you tee up these amazing 90-day vacations, and then you get stuck working the entire time while you're gone. That's not the outcome that you want. That's not the outcome your kids want either. So you need to think about what's the leverage I need to put around me so when you go away, your business keeps running, because your clients deserve to still have communication. They deserve to still have their needs met, right? And this is where having a team around you starts to really benefit your clients, right? And also your family, so you're actually able to be present with them. There's always going to be things that you have to do while you're traveling. When we were in Italy, I sold 6 houses last year, right? It's just the way it went. It was totally cool. Just handled it, dealt with it. But I still relied on the team to do the vast majority of things while I was gone.
Well,
right?
it's about like making sure that the clients maintain, like have an experience that is white glove. Like this has everything to do with the fact that you work hard and you deserve a break, but your clients deserve an impeccable experience, no matter what time of year, no matter whether you're in town or not.
Right.
So it's absolutely important to create that leverage. And that's a big part of being able to build the memories with your kids, and being able to run a business at the same time is building that leverage.
Yeah. And this really comes into the distinction of, do you have a job or do you have a business? If you have a job, this is going to be very, very difficult to do. If you have a business, meaning you've got other people that provide you leverage, it will keep going while you're gone, which is really, really powerful and really important for your clients and for your income and consistency as well.
Exactly right. Yep. And number 6.
My favorite one.
Let's talk about this.
Yes.
How we organize the trips. This is a big tip.
Yeah. So a lot of people ask me, they're like, how do you plan these things? And I don't use
travel agents.
A travel agent. Yeah. I am our travel agent.
Yes, you are.
And to me, I got this from my grandmother, Grandma Betty. She loved planning trips too. And she would always tell me, you got to spend at least as much time planning it as you do actually going on it to get the most out of your time. And that built into my mind, hey, we got to really make sure we get the most out of it, because we don't have that much time to go and travel, right? And so when we do it, we want to make sure we get the most out of every minute, every hour, every day. And we also get the chance to relax a little of it, right? Like
That's me.
I
That's
don't want to go like wait for a restaurant table for 2 fucking hours
Right.
when I'm trying to be on vacation, right? I want everything to be like very well organized and be very smooth, where I don't waste any of my time. So that's where the planning comes in. We affectionately call it a Google Doc in the family.
No, it literally is a Google Doc.
Yeah,
we don't affectionately call it.
It is a Google Doc. We create them for every trip that we go on.
Yep.
And so what it is, like, we will typically pick a destination first of all, and the destination we're going to pick is usually based on the time of year, right? It's like, hey, we know that like Italy, for example, is going to be really cold in North Italy in February, but in June it's pretty awesome, right? Yep. We know that Thailand's pretty cool in April, but it's really hot in July, right? Yep. So really picking the seasonality and then picking the country. And then after we pick the country, we book the flights. Like that's the first big thing.
You shop it for weeks, sometimes months.
Yes, we do shop the flights very hard. A lot of people ask me, like, do you fly first class? We do not fly first class.
We sure don't.
We don't even fly business class. We cram our asses into coach because it gets to the same place.
Experience. Okay? Yeah, we want to spend money on the experience.
Yes, we will splurge on hotels and dinners and things like that. But when it comes to getting there, the same plane gets you there, whether you're in first class or coach.
Sometimes we are a little cramped afterward.
Yeah, sometimes a little cramped, but we get there nevertheless. So we will book the flights. After we book the flights, we will book the hotels. I'm a huge fan of booking.com. And as we're adding all these components to the trip, we're adding them to the Google Docs. So it's organized by day, right? Mm-hmm. Every single day we know what's happening. And then usually like 60 days before, we'll kind of firm up the experiences, like what are the things we're going to do? Yep. And then 30 days out, we'll firm up where we're going to eat every night, because we're food people, right? Like we are very disciplined when we're here and eating bodybuilding foods, but when we travel, we definitely let it go a little bit more, and we go out for awesome dinners every single night. Like it's an experience for us, right? It's an experience with our kids, and it's a lot of fun. And so I will research the shit out of restaurants to make sure that we know where we're going, that it's going to be world-class food experience, and that we're never going to wait even a minute for a table when we get there, right?
Yeah, I mean, we've been very blessed because you've seen it as like kind of a hobby, like you're kind of a hobbyist travel. Yeah, you love it. And so many people are like, oh, I'm stuck doing all the travel. And it's like, well, you bounce between booking, TripAdvisor for reviews, right? What else do you look for like restaurant reviews and activity reviews? Google
for sure. Okay. When it comes to like really good restaurants, I actually like, if you Google like, we're going to Dubai in February, I Googled Dubai Condé Nast top restaurants, because they are like very, very picky about what ends up. Are you familiar with that at all? It's very high end. Well, that's like, some of like the Milano Cafe in Italy, I found off of there, like some of these really high end places you'll find on Condé Nast. So I'll use that, but I never just take that at face value. I'll go double check it on Google and see like, what do all these reviews look like? I actually look at all the photos because I want to make sure the space is kind of exciting too, especially like in Thailand last year. Like, what did we do the first night we got to Thailand, right? We had a rooftop dinner reservation that same night we landed there on like the 65th floor of this amazing building, right? And we caught the coolest pink sky sunset, and it set the tone for the whole fucking trip,
it was
right?
Awesome.
And so it took a lot of time to find that place and to get a table reserved for it. But when we got there, it was just like super smooth, and it created these amazing memories and photos and everything else.
I mean, that comes back to, planning, preparation, right? Like being able to build these experiences and these core memories with our kids. Like it takes planning and preparation. It's not always a fun environment if you're flying by the seat of your pants and you're winging it on vacations, right? Like that can be really stressful. That can be really very stressful for the kids when they see mom and dad being stressed about it. So the more you plan as you go out of town and do these things, the better experience your kids have as well.
Yeah, you don't want to be sitting in a hotel with your kids and saying like, hey, what are we going to do today?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Well, I don't know. What do you want to do? Right? Like that's not.
Just be decisive. Just
that's not
don't give the kids the autonomy, right? Yeah, exactly right.
Awesome. Anything else you want to add?
No, I think that it's so possible. Like it's so realistic to make memories. And even if you're not traveling, countries, that's our big hobby. That's like what we spend money on. We spend money on experiences, not stuff. But even if it's just local staycations, if it's local activity, if it's driving to different states that are close by, like it doesn't have to be a worldwide thing, but go do stuff with your kids. Like go have fun, go make experiences, go hiking, go camping, go fishing, whatever it is that you're into. Like bring your kids along. I think so many people will think, oh, I have this hobby that I'm going to go do. And the more you can enroll your kids into your hobbies and get them involved in doing stuff, the more core memories you're going to make for your entire family.
Right. The key word to me is intentionality, right?
Yeah.
This stuff will not happen by accident. It only happens if you make it a priority, right?
Yeah,
so
100%.
Intentionality, prioritization, that's what's going to get you there.
Yep. I completely agree. So I love
Awesome.
it. This is great.
So again, if you would like, share, and review us, that would mean a ton to us. Definitely share it with someone that you think might get some value from it. And if you want to connect with us online, you can find us on meetthenovaks.com. That's our website. I'm also on Instagram at the real Mike Novak.
And I'm on Instagram and Facebook at Rachel Novak.
We'll see you next week.